The 2002 Spider-Man film features Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. He's a high school student living with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. He is Harry Osborn's best friend, gets bullied by Flash Thompson, and harbors feelings for Mary Jane Watson. During a school trip to a genetics lab, Peter is bitten by a radioactive spider that gives him superpowers. He possesses enhanced reflexes, augmented strength, ability to scale walls, anticipate peril, and even eject webs from his wrists. Peter uses his newfound abilities to beat up school bully Flash, causing Uncle Ben to give him the infamous "with great power comes great responsibility" speech. When Peter fights in a wrestling match to win some money to buy a car, the fight promoter cheats him out of his winnings. And when a thief robs the promoter, a spiteful Peter allows the thief to escape. The thief then goes on to kill Uncle Ben, causing great distress to the guilty. Meet Peter. After finishing school and being motivated by his late uncle's sayings, Peter decided to use his new abilities to fight crime as a masked superhero spy, Spider-Man. Peter also gets employed by Daily Bugle editor J. Jonah Jameson to take photos of Spider-Man, which Jameson uses to discredit the hero. While Peter evolves into a hero, Norman Osborn, who is the father of Peter's best buddy Harry, is turning into a villain. Norman is the head of the scientific corporation Oscorp, which is developing advanced military equipment, performance-enhancing chemicals. When Norman tests the chemicals on himself, he begins to lose his mind. Throughout the film, Norman descends further into madness, killing off his business rivals using his signature pumpkin bombs and creating havoc in the city as the villainous Green Goblin. Spider-Man battles Green Goblin, eventually resulting in Norman accidentally taking his own life. When Spider-Man takes Norman's body back to his home, Harry sees and vows vengeance on the masked hero, unaware it was Peter under the mask. And when Mary Jane declares her love for Peter, Peter rejects her, scared that his foes would exploit her to reach him. Peter would be taking Uncle Ben's words and responsibility to heart. So it would be... In Spider-Man 2, Peter is disheartened to find out that Mary Jane is now engaged to John Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son. Medicine. Upset with what being Spider-Man has cost him, he decides to discard his suit and give normal life another try. Harry Osborn Hezen of Oscorp, who are now few. Octavius. Otto becomes a friend and mentor of Peter, someone who has always wanted to work in science. In a public demonstration of his fusion power, Otto uses artificial intelligence-powered robotic tentacle arms to handle hazardous materials. However, when the fusion reactor becomes unstable, Otto's spouse perishes and the robotic appendages become attached to his body. A troubled Otto begins to become more and more influenced and corrupted by his robotic arms and is desperate to retry his fusion reactor experiment. It ends. He starts robbing banks. Eventually, Doc Ock turns to Harry for supplies for his new fusion reactor, which Harry agrees to give him in exchange for the capture of Spider-Man. Thinking Peter and Spider-Man are friends, Harry instructs Otto to question Peter about Spider-Man's whereabouts. Consequently, Doc Ock abducts Mary Jane and instructs Peter to deliver Spider-Man to him, prompts Peter to retrieve his suit and become Spider-Man once again. Lord Ock was delivered Spider-Man Harry, but upon discovering that his best friend Peter was under a mask, he can't bring himself to kill him. Rival. And so Peter leaves to confront Doc Ock and rescue Mary Jane. Spider-Man confronts Doc Ock at his new waterfront. Later, the two fight and eventually Peter is able to get through to Otto to make him see the danger his unstable, a new fusion reactor. Posed, Otto is able to break free of the grip his AI robotic arms have on him and sacrifices himself to destroy the reactor. Peter then saves Mary Jane, and now with the knowledge that he is Spider-Man, she decides to ditch her fiancé on their wedding day to confess her love for Peter. But things will get more complicated for Peter as Harry has not only discovered Peter's secret identity, he's also discovered his father's secret room containing all of his Green Goblin equipment. In Spider-Man 3, things start off pretty great for Peter Parker. He's been dating Mary Jane for a year and plans on proposing. He's also being taught by a new mentor, Dr. Kurt Connors, and one of his classmates is the comic book favorite Gwen Staples. But things quickly go downhill when a meteor crashes on Earth and an alien symbiote assimilates with his Spider-Man suit. The symbiote begins to enhance Peter's worst aspects, like his anger and ego. This breaks his relationship with Mary Jane. And it's not just the symbiote Peter has to worry about. There's 3 new villains on the scene to cause all sorts of problems for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Harry Osborn forces Mary Jane to break up with Peter by threatening his life, then uses his father's Green Goblin gear to attack Peter, but gets his own face scarred in the process. To escape convict Flint Marco, revealed to be Uncle Rushini Sonedi F. Borby, Uncle Ben's true killer, stumbles into an experimental particle accelerator which fuses his body with sand, allowing him to control and regulate it, reform his body with it. Dubbed the Sandman, Marco begins robbing banks to earn enough money to pay off his debt. Enough money to pay for his sick daughter's much-needed surgery. And when Peter shows up, rival photographer Eddie Brock as fabricating photos of Spider-Man, Brock is sacked from the Daily Bugle and develops his own resentment against Peter. When Peter finally realizes that the symbiote is corrupting him, he deduces that sound weakens it and uses the ringing of church bells to help detach the symbiote from his suit. The symbiote then attaches itself to Eddie Brock, who becomes the new host for the alien bad guy Venom. Venom collaborates with Sandman to eliminate Spider-Man once and for all. All things considered, as Venomancer and Man Assault Peter, Harry uncovers the truth about his dad's death and decides to use the Green Goblin gear to help him, his friend. Harry sacrifices himself to save Peter's life, and Peter then goes on to kill both Venom and Eddie. Flint confesses to Peter that Uncle Ben's death was an accident that haunts him to this day. Peter forgives Flint and allows him to escape in order to pay for his daughter's surgery. Then, following Harry's funeral, Peter and Mary Jane reconcile.